So we are going to get the pumpkin spice, and you can make the pumpkin spice the way you like it. I am going to have my spoon stuck in the jar right here. Okay, there, it's out. So as we're getting into the fall, people are starting to think about pumpkin. You see pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks everywhere, and in the coffee shops, you see pumpkin flavored this, pumpkin flavored that. Where does this all come from? Well, it comes from the pumpkin pie that everybody's had around the holidays. Thanksgiving time, Christmas time, actually right around Halloween time. And I like pumpkin pie. It's kind of a nice little snack now and again. And if you make it healthy enough, you can even have it for breakfast with some coffee. I have a recipe for pumpkin pie that is keto friendly. And so we are going to make today a keto friendly pumpkin pie. The trick first is to come up with a good crust. And I've taken the keto friendly topping of a berry cobbler that I use and turned it into a pie crust. So I'm going to show you how to make a keto friendly pie crust using only nuts, almond flour, butter, and then we'll make the filling, which is essentially a custard, and I'll show you that in a little while. So let's start. Half a cup of almonds. Put them in a food processor. Quarter cup of macadamia nuts. Now macadamia nuts are really expensive. The kind of nuts you use aren't really essential, except this gives the best flavor in my opinion. So I use almonds and macadamia nuts and almond flour, but you could use pecans, you could use whatever you want and it would be fine. Now pulse this to make these about like breadcrumbs. Okay, this is nice and fine, just enough. I'll show you. Take a look at it and you'll see about where it should be. Take that out and throw it into a bowl. Now in that bowl, you add 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. To that you add just about 6 tablespoons of melted butter. Also, you want 2 tablespoons of sweetener. I like Swerve, that's erythritol, it's a type of sweetener. But you could use stevia if you wanted. You could use allulose if you want. There's a lot of different sweeteners to use. That's one. That's two. Now just mix it up and get it to a nice consistency so you can press it into a pie plate. Okay, you get a pie plate. Spray it with a non-stick spray and press your mixture into the pie plate because this makes your pie shell. All right, now that the crust is all patted into the shell, you go ahead and you stick it in the oven, 425 degrees for 10 to 15 minutes until it's just barely cooked. Okay, so as you can see, the crust baked for just about 10 minutes and it was done. If you take a look at it over there, you'll see it's just slightly brown. It's a little bit soft, but it's perfect to hold the pumpkin pie because remember, we're going to be baking this thing another 30 to 45 minutes. So let's go ahead and start making the filling. Now this is really simple and I just took this off the back of the can of pumpkin and I modified it to make it keto friendly. I take 1 can of pumpkin. Okay, add in a can of coconut milk. Now if you're not afraid of dairy, you can use regular milk as well, but Coconut milk makes this dairy free. It makes it paleo friendly as well as keto friendly. Add in 2 eggs. Now, add to that a half cup of xylitol. Again, you can use whatever sweetener you want. Just make sure to change the quantities to match what you're looking for. I like xylitol because I don't think it has an aftertaste. Some people like allulose, other people like stevia, other people like erythritol. There are all kinds you can do. This is mine. Okay, now for the flavorings. You want spices. Pumpkin pie. In America, when you think of pumpkin flavor, you're really thinking of the pumpkin spice and not the flavor of the pumpkin. And so we are going to get the pumpkin spice, and you can make the pumpkin spice the way you like it. I am going to have my spoon stuck in the jar right here. Okay, there, it's out. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. This is my particular preference. Half a teaspoon of ginger. You know, this would be good if you use fresh ginger. And a 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. These are ground cloves. Be careful with cloves. They're a very strong spice. And unless you really like it, you don't want to put too much. You could also put some nutmeg in if you want, but that's not your standard pumpkin pie spice. I'm also going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now that punches this up a little bit as far as flavoring goes, but I like it that way. And that's basically your filling. You've made a custard. Now it's a matter of just blending it up and pouring it into the pie filling. Now that's it. Now you have your pumpkin pie filling. You want to pour this into the shell after it's cooled and put the whole thing in the oven, 425 degrees for 15 minutes. Then you turn the oven down to 350 degrees and then you bake it for another 30 to 40 minutes and it'll be done. This is going to be your basic pumpkin pie with the shell. So this is it. You've got your pumpkin pie, you've got a nut-based crust. This has about 186 calories in a slice. It's got 4 grams of carbs in the entire slice. It's got a lot of fiber, has a bit of protein from the egg, the coconut milk, the pumpkin, and the nuts. And it's got a good amount of fat, but generally it's great for a breakfast. It's good for a snack. It's very tasty. You really can't taste the difference between this and a regular pumpkin pie except that it doesn't taste as cloyingly sweet and it tastes healthier, and it is healthier.